You got the Mac guys here on Birds 365, and we are joined by the biggest Al Horford fan here in Philadelphia.
Oh.
I hate that man.
Why does Al Horford just pick on the Sixers, except when he was on the Sixers?
Dude,
Hunter?
I can't stand it. That fraud, man. I'll tell you what, those 3-pointers, the blocks, pisses me. My toes right now, they're like this. They're curling.
Yeah,
it should be, because he kind of abused Joel Embiid the other night.
Yeah, he did.
Tell you that Joel's perimeter defense was brutally bad, and it was mostly because of Al Horford. But we digress. We're not here to talk about the Sixers. We're here to talk about the Eagles with Hunter Brody from Broads Media, and on YouTube, check out his daily shows. Broads, Eagles Chiefs. Nick Sirianni's trying to tell me this week it's just another game. It's 1 of 17. They have to prepare for this the same way they prepare for every other one. I'm not buying. Are you?
No, I'm not buying it either. And I think Jordan Mailata said it on WIP this week as well, did he not? When they were walking off the field the last time they saw this team, it was the wrong color confetti. So, I mean, I do understand where he's coming from. You know, they probably prepare the same way for every single week. We're about to win this game. We can only focus about this game, this game, this game. So I do get it from a general sense, but come on, man. I mean, this team snagged this championship trophy right from your hands when you had a double-digit lead at half and you thought you were going to win another Super Bowl. So no matter what he stresses, I think Jordan Mailata saying what he's saying tells you exactly where this locker room is. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, they know what opportunity they had in front of them that unfortunately didn't work for us. And, they're going to be hungry to beat their ass, I'd expect.
But these new coaches, Hunter, they're like automatrons. It's about the process. It's not about the week to week league, situation to situation. Got to go 1-0 this week. And the Eagles being on the bye week, I got to see a lot more press conferences. They say the same thing, every single one of them. Process, about the process, blah, 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 blah. They really do focus down on that week to week mentality. But while I say that, after that Dallas game, and Nick's pretty juiced up. Nick's probably got more energy than anybody I know, with the exception of Hunter Brody. He's a juice guy. Maybe Brandon Graham as well. He's a juice guy, though. After Dallas, he was more excited than he usually is. So if I said the Eagles beat Kansas City in Kansas City on Monday night, and I see Nick Sirianni bounding down the hallways in the bowels of Arrowhead Stadium, is he going to be more excited for beating Kansas City than Dallas, or less excited?
He'll probably be, See, I think the reason why he was excited was he was like, damn, all right, we got away with that one. So the emotions were so high because they almost blew it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If they go beat the Kansas City Chiefs by, 10 points or so, and you walk off comfortably, maybe it's a different feeling. But to your point, I bet you he goes, that's revenge. So hold on a second there, Nick. I thought it was just another game. Now all of a sudden you beat them, and it means more? I don't know. Look, we'll find out, because John Clark will tweet maybe 24 hours before the game and say, I was told that Nick Sirianni showed them highlights of the Super Bowl loss last year. And it's coming. So whatever. They might just be spewing garbage to us and then having deeper internal meetings inside that room to get them all fired up. Whatever works, just go win the damn game.
3 most juiced guys I know: Nick Sirianni, Hunter Brody, Sam Kinison. That's the threesome I would put together, but that's just me. And some people going, who the hell is Jody talking about? Others are going, oh, I know what you mean, Joe. All right, Hunter, we've been debating this all week long. Need your input on it, too. The Eagles' running game this year, to this point, as compared to last year, has not been as good. Specifically, you want to break it down over portions of the year. They had 2 mega running games, week 2 and week 3, with DeAndre Swift going nuts in them. Not near as much the last couple of weeks. That, oh, by the way, except for the Jets loss, they continue to win, but the running numbers are down. And it's at least something to be looked at, if not concerned over. Why do you think the Eagles' running game hasn't been as effective here in 2023 as it was in 2022?
Are they in love with A.J. Brown and what he's doing? Is it just something to be said about he's a monster, so they just want to keep feeding the beast and working those explosive plays that that they're obsessed with? I don't know. I mean, when you have that level of success and you really are having a monster, he's up there at this point. It's Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson. You could put those three in the mix as arguably the best three in the league. When you have that, you get so enamored by it. Your eyes light up. You know they love explosive plays, so they keep trying to force that in there, which will become more difficult without Dallas Goedert, I'd imagine. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have to imagine that's why, and they're having that success. So why shy away from something that's working so well? But I do think they got to at least get back to it to a minor degree here and start incorporating that back into. Look, if you want to keep sustaining those drives and milking 6 minutes off the clock, 7 minutes off the clock, and working that identity, keeping Pat Mahomes off the field. Their game plan last year in the Super Bowl, I thought, was magnificent, and it would need the run game to work this week if they're going to do that again, which is have Mahomes on the sidelines. My only answer would be, I guess they love what they're getting in the passing game so much that it's easy to commit to it because it's working.
Yeah, yeah. What did Patrick Mahomes? I think he had 182 passing in the Super Bowl. If I would have gave Eagles fans, they're going to give up 182 passing yards to Patrick Mahomes. They would have taken that, man.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, they kind of feel like they let one get away, which I kind of agree with to a certain extent. Now, you mentioned Dallas Goedert. I think because of last year, Hunter, he missed 5 games and the Eagles went 5-0. I think people kind of say, they'll be fine without Dallas Goedert. But they forget those games. The first one was at Indianapolis, which might have been the Eagles' worst offensive performance of the year.
Yeah,
they came back to win it.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Jalen put him on his back. Green Bay, then they started cooking. Tennessee, if people remember, Tennessee was devastated with injuries. They blew them out. The Giants are just terrible, and the Bears were terrible, and they struggled with the Bears. My point is, pretty easy schedule. This time it's Kansas City, it's Buffalo, it's San Francisco, it's Dallas. Are you more concerned with not having Dallas Goedert for those games?
It's a big loss, and I don't want to pretend like it's not a huge loss. It is a big loss. I guess where my confidence level comes in is I just believe in the quarterback so much that, and I know this is different. It's not the same exact thing because, one, the Chiefs have Andy Reid, and then there's a whole entire offseason to incorporate new stuff. This is more on the fly. But when you're a great team led by a great quarterback. Pat Mahomes had Tyreek Hill. They lose Tyreek Hill. It's how's this offense going to work? Well, you just find ways because you have the head coach and the quarterback. And to a 1,000-foot overhead view, I'm going to use that. I know there's a lot more to it. But when you have the head coach and the quarterback that keeps winning and finding ways no matter what, I feel they can find a way to survive without him. Now, it will hurt, and he does both. He blocks very well, and he passes, can catch very well in the pass game. And I don't know if you have a tight end on this roster that could do both. They either can maybe help out in the passing game, or maybe it's Stoll and he can help out in the blocking. You don't have the one guy that can be a threat to do both. But I think that there's enough talent, especially at the quarterback position with the head coach, to find ways to get creative without him. That would be my answer, but I don't want to downplay the loss of what he brings because it could be a tell. Well, here's Albert O. Well, we know what Albert O does, so we have a different view if you're Spags or maybe what the Eagles are trying to do on this down compared to if it's Stoll out there or something along those lines.
Do we really know what Albert O does?
I don't know. Can he catch the ball? I feel like in theory he can go catch it.
He's athletic. He's caught it a little bit with Denver. So you could at least look at past performance and say,
how about Julio Jones? Can we get a little more out of Julio maybe? Maybe we incorporate him differently.
Yeah. We got to see how much Julio has left in the tank, but Julio could perform. The question is, everything's not a stasis. Is he still going to be a difference-making player? But he is going to be better than Jody's favorite, Quez Watkins, in theory. I would say Bradley Roby is going to be better than Sidney Brown, Eli Ricks, in theory. Cam Jurgens is going to be better than Suo Peta, Tyler Steen at right guard. Eagles getting some players back as well. How much does that help?
Yeah, oh, it helps. It helps for sure. I had people screaming at me about Sean Desai over the last week, and I'm like, I think Sean Desai is doing everything he can with what he has. I mean, he's dealing with a raw Sidney Brown. He's dealing with Eli Ricks, and he's willing to try different things. One play it's Brown, one play it's Ricks. He's going here or put Slay on Lamb if he needs to. So he's doing everything in his power. He just doesn't have a lot to work with. You got to beg for your front to go win. And then Hassan Reddick wakes up, BG wakes up, Josh Sweat has a great rate of pressure in the quarterback. That's what you have to rely on when you have some unfortunate injuries in your secondary. So to get Roby back in the slot, Bradbury is having a rough little go here, and that's problematic. But you think maybe you can just get Roby back. It can settle everybody down. Everyone can get back to maybe just taking a deep breath and realizing the bodies are there that are supposed to be there. And I thought Cunningham made some nice plays out there against Dallas. So, yeah, I believe that just getting everybody back in their place might let Sean Desai and the rest of the crew just take a deep breath. But Bradbury's been a little rough around the edges, I'd say, which is a big drop-off from last year.
Hunter, I don't know if you heard this earlier in the week here on Birds 365, but John suggested to me that Quez Watkins might actually be ready to play, but
he's ready.
The Eagles are holding off on activating him because they've got roster crunches. And when I hear that, you knock me over with a feather, because the coach talks as if Quez Watkins is one of their key elements to their offense. That Quez makes everybody else around him better. Well, then how do you not get him active enough for this game without Dallas Goedert? If we're going to say the other receivers other than Smith and Brown, who of course are stars, have to give you a little bit more. How can Quez Watkins not be part of that? You listen to the coach. He's a key part of that. He's healthy and he's just sitting on the sidelines. What the hell?
That's a great point. It's a great point. And I'm also watching Rager this week do a little something too. So it's like, hey, all these.
What did Rager do? I missed it.
Did he have a touchdown or am I nuts?
I don't know.
He might have.
I don't know.
A couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago. I just saw people talking about it on my timeline. Anyway, Quez, come on. I can't stand that anymore. I'm done with Quez. How about Zacchaeus? I'll put Zacchaeus in there. He can do more. Is Jay Jaw available? Is Jay Jaw on the streets? I'd take Jay Jaw over Quez Watkins right now. I'm done with this guy. He can block.
Hey,
he's a good blocker.
Who made a big play last night? Nelson Aguilar.
Oh, that's what I meant. I didn't mean
that. Catch into the end zone. Nelly came up big last night.
That's who I meant. I meant that. All these great wide receivers, I just forget them all. They have some great ones. That's it. I meant Aguilar.
Boy, by the way, you just mentioned some great names, Hunter. Jay Jaw, Jalen Rager, Nelson Aguilar. How spoiled has Philadelphia gotten so quickly with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith? Now it's like, it's like, we got to get more people involved. Just enjoy AJ and Devontae. Don't worry about everybody.
For sure. Else. But I want to say this, and I'll stand on this take to the end of the world here. Nelson Aguilar, that Super Bowl, baby. You don't win that Super Bowl without Nelson. He ever
played.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. He doesn't get the respect he deserves around here. How about that for a take?
The stars aligning. Forget about Nick Foles. Fourth down to Zach Ertz. Nelson Aguilar had his best game ever. Defense couldn't stop him. Brandon makes the big play at the Trey Burton. He came back last week as an Eagles legend. Eagles legend Trey Burton, the trigger man of Corey Clement. By the way, that was an incomplete pass the whole season, and they said, you know what, we're going to change this at the last minute because they were getting too much crap.
I like that call.
Many things. Stars
I like
align.
that call. Yeah.
Stars
and
align.
I'll go you one better. You're talking about making a big play at a big point. Derek Barnett is still here because of the strip sack in the 2017 Super Bowl. We're talking 6 years later, and he's still here because he stripped the ball from Tom Brady. So you do it at the right time. You get a whole bunch of credit for it if you do it at the right time.
Well, get Brandon the credit. Brandon made the play. He stripped.
Well, Barnett fell on it. That's what I meant.
Yeah, but still falling on it's important. I gave his name?
Very important.
I gave Steen a 5-minute standing ovation after last week's performance for falling on the football. So come on now.
How did he get his hand in there? I thought that ball was turned over. I thought it was gone. Yeah, you were. I don't know that we mentioned that all week. We never gave Steen credit for
You
that.
went
That
4
was
minutes and 59 seconds too long because of the pass blocking. That's
Whoa,
he
whoa,
probably
whoa.
got bitten so badly he was ready to pick up the football.
Your show's called Birds 365, and you're telling me you didn't give Steen a round of applause. That's a disgrace.
Did not. Shame on both of us for that. You are correct. That
I'll have
was.
to talk to Joe Kraus after this one.
Yeah, that was a pretty big play by Mr. Steen. All right, but we won't be worried about Mr. Steen this week, or at least it looks that way. Cam Jurgens back in at right guard for the Eagles. Could that be another reason why the last 4 weeks weren't as good as the first 5 weeks of the Eagles running the football? Can one interior offensive lineman, make that big a deal? Do you think the Eagles run it better this week because they got Jurgens back?
They might just run it better because they run it better. I mean, Jurgens is your best option at right guard. Obviously, Tyler Steen got thrown into the fire there, and he had some nice moments. He had some ugly moments, which makes a lot of sense for where he's at in his career. But yeah, I mean, they can for sure. They can run the ball better because Cam Jurgens is your best option at right guard. But it's probably going to be more about approach. Like if they run it better, I think we'll be talking about the game plan being different and more willing to hand the ball off more. And I actually liked what I got to give credit to Brian Johnson, even though we could talk about what happened late there where they were pinned back and this and that. I thought I saw the most creativity with some play design. I really liked the play where they lined up DeAndre Swift in the slot and had Kenneth Gainwell as the lead blocker, and he's moving in motion. And I'm like, I don't know if I've seen Brian Johnson get into his bag like that a little bit. Maybe we could see some of that with Gotti, get 2 running backs out there. But that's what, doesn't Sirianni stress that all the time? Not every run is a technical run. Sometimes we incorporate
Jody
the short passes.
Loves it.
Yeah, hey, why not?
Extension of the running game.
That's an Eagle coach specialty. Rick used to say that.
Extension of the running game. Shane used to talk about it all the time.
A pass is a pass is a pass, Andy. Same thing for you, Coach Nick. If the quarterback takes it out of his hand and it goes like this, that's a pass. Even this, as the little run in front, the wide receiver come around. But if you
to be fair, you know, you need a labeling system. Fans need a labeling system, and one's a run and one's a pass, and that's what it's recorded as. But, you know, Nick's example, Hunter, was the jet sweep. Now, if you're a team that lines up under center, that's going to be a run because the quarterback's going to turn around and hand the football behind him on a jet sweep. If you're a gun team, which the Eagles are with Jalen Hurts, they flip it ahead and it's a pass play. It's the same damn play. So Nick is right, but it's recorded as a run for one team, as a pass for another team. He's got a point. I mean, you might want to haggle with some of the stuff, but that's a legitimate point.
And just let me add this. I like the fact that it's a pass play because just in case there's a misexchange and the ball goes to the ground, incomplete pass.
Yeah, good point.
If you hand it to him, it's a fumble and you can lose the football.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that it is a pass play. But call it a pass play. Don't try and call it a run.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this about Brian Johnson, because I'm seeing progress, right? But obviously fans were disappointed in the way it ended. Dallas getting the ball back to 3rd and 3 to A.J. Brown. And I know we're dating back to last week, but I don't like, or 2 weeks ago at this point, right? I don't know. But anyway, I didn't like the 3rd and 3 to A.J. Brown, but that's just one play out of an entire game where I thought, throughout 4 or 5 drives, they're scoring touchdowns every time. The red zone's getting better. I think we're seeing progress with him. I just feel like there's about Brian Johnson that I'm seeing.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it, Hunter. I've been talking about. Right now, we're on track. Brian Johnson's one and done, man. If they continue on this pace, he's out of here. He's a head coach in this league next year. Now, a lot of things can happen between now and the end of the season. Yeah, I don't know. I get the sense, and I brought this up last week, so I'll ask you. I get the sense people like Sean Desai more than Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson's piloting, he's got more talent, let's be honest. Top 5 offense. They're number 1 in 3rd down offense, Hunter. Number one in 4th down offense. Number 1, tough to get better. The defense, middle of the pack, 28th in pass defense. Yet I get the feeling more people are saying Sean's doing a good job than Brian's doing a good job.
Yeah,
Why is that?
yeah, I don't know. And I think it's the eye test, really. It's because we're going from Gannon to Desai. So that's one thing, is where you're coming from. We loved Steichen because the way he had the flow of the game calling. And then we go to someone who's a little newer at it, who's done it in college. But look, he's not perfect. By no means is he perfect. And it started out ugly. So when you look at baby steps, no one's willing to give him, because we're going to a Super Bowl. That's the mentality. So it's not like we have time to watch him grow over the first 8 weeks. People want the results instantly. And I think because Gannon was so, this is my scheme and this is what we're going to run, and it gets shredded, and there weren't really
scheme, bro.
I know, but this is the difference. Like I mentioned earlier, you see one play, it's Eli Ricks. The next play, it's Josh Jones.
That's true.
It's, in theory, to them with the eye test, it's this guy's willing to adjust 5 seconds after something doesn't work, and you're going from someone we hate. And then on the offense, it's going from Shane Steichen, everyone we love, or everyone loves him, and then Johnson's going through growing pains. That's what I think is going on. Jody, you're quiet. Well, you don't like our takeover here, do you?
No, I don't. I think that Sean Desai, you got to grade on a curve. Sean Desai has done a better job from what he was given than Johnson has, because Johnson didn't. Who is the equivalent of the 2 linebackers who came in, replacing 2 guys who were pretty damn good, that the Eagles spent $1.380 on both of them. Eli Ricks, undrafted rookie free agent, outside corner. Hey, Eli, why don't you play some slot? Really? Are you going there? The fact that they're bringing in a guy to replace a Justin Evans, who was okay at best when he came in. What changes? What hurdles did Brian Johnson have to get over on offense? DeAndre Swift.
He's never called
for Miles Sanders. Is that really that big a difference?
Okay.
He was dealt a better hand than Desai was, because the Eagles, and rightfully so, Howie Roseman, I'm not saying Howie made mistakes. He had to replace a whole bunch of different guys. The offense was basically 10 out of the 11 same guys coming back.
I don't disagree with that. I think it's more just about the idea of, even though there's a lot of talent there, he's never done it. And I think in the beginning, I was right there with you. I'm like, this is a little confusing. The red zone play calls. But from where we are now at 8-1, from where we were 3 games into the season with that stuff, it's been a huge improvement. And I don't think he's getting the respect that he deserves from weeks, let's say 1, 2, and 3 with all the struggles to where we are now. Unless behind the scenes, they removed some stuff from his plate and we don't know about it, which would then change how I feel. But I think now a lot of what we were angry about has improved.
I can tell you with 100% certainty that Nick Sirianni ain't calling plays.
Yeah,
he doesn't want any part of it. He doesn't want anything to do with it. It's kind of amazing how quickly he's like, you know what? I'm a better head coach without getting bogged down by play calling. And I give him a ton of credit for that. Now, there are other guys. Kevin Patullo, I always say, is probably the biggest name that nobody talks about, because he's the closest one to Nick Sirianni. He's got the coach's ear on everything. But no, Brian's doing a good job. I think Sean's doing a good job. But I would say this about the adjustments, and I hate that term, I freely admit, because fans throw it around. You got to adjust. You got to adjust. Don't tell me that. Tell me what the adjustment is. What do you want done? Too many people.
Blitzing. Blitzing. There's your answer.
Blitzing. There. Yeah. Too many fans say you got to adjust. What does that mean? What does that mean? But the point with the slot, and you said he's willing to try different things, and Jody knows. I gave him credit for that back in the preseason. I said, that's pretty interesting. Talked to Bradbury again yesterday. He said it was for emergencies. Why was cross training in the slot? I thought that's unique, and that's pretty, I think, bright and a good thing to do. As he rolled through these 9 bodies through the first 9 weeks, I started to shift a little bit. It's not his fault. The injuries aren't his fault. But at some point, the old saying, you got to shit or get off the pot, Sean. Make a decision. I think that hurt them later in the first half. All this piecemealing back and forth. Yeah, you're up against it. But you got to put your best player. Who's your best player in the slot? I don't know because they never made a decision, Hunter. So,
Well, if they had, who would you have picked, John?
I would have picked Sidney Brown. Just let him go, man. He's so athletic. Yeah, he's going to make mistakes. But they all perform poorly. I would have
Yeah,
just
and
went with
after the
Sidney Brown.
Buyer trade, you were able to do that. I think. Well,
Yeah.
then Sidney Brown was also not available for you for a little bit of time too there. So, but Bayard's been a little disappointment in coverage, I'd say.
Yeah,
He hasn't broken out
I
yet.
don't know how much he has left. We'll get to see this week with Kelsey. He's had a lot of success with Kelsey in this past. We'll see how much he has left, but I do think he's a really smart. Things are going to calm down with him and Roby. I think that's comfortable. I think they might not be great, but they're going to know how to play. They're going to be solid, and I think things are going to structure. But that's where I was with Sean Desai. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty good, and then it became, all right, you've seen everybody, now make a decision.
I felt similar to that at one point. It was like, I like the fact that he's willing to try, but sometimes I think he was too quick on the trigger where you don't even know if this is going to work yet, and he already kind of gave up on it. So I felt that way at one point too.
All right. One more thing before we let you run, Broads. By the way, there will be an offensive coordinator in the NFL this year, 2023. He'll be a head coach in 2024, and it will be B. Johnson. But it will not be the Eagles' offensive coordinator. It'll be Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator of the Lions, who will.
I think it'll be both B. Johnsons. How about that?
You think it'll be both?
I think the Lions have a better shot, I think, than Brian does currently as we sit here today. If I was a betting man, of course.
Yeah.
Ben's farther along. Ben's
Right,
going to get a head coaching job. Yeah, I think they both are.
There's
going to be a lot of openings.
Two B. Johnsons being hired during this offseason. McMullen's on record. He says both. I'll say one, and I think it's going to be Ben. I'm not sure Brian's getting an offense head coaching gig just yet. All right, Hunter Brody, need you on the record. Eagles Chiefs Monday. Everybody can check out Broad's Media, and we give you the right to change your mind between now and Monday. But now,
you got to make
right here, right now, we need a pick.
Oh, Bert, come on now. We're going Eagles 28-23. How about that? The Chiefs average.
I should know what the over-under number is on this game, and I don't. Shame on me.
So my thing is the Chiefs average. I looked up some numbers. Look at that. They call me research. All right. The Eagles average 28 points per game, which is third in the league with San Francisco. I'd say it's pretty good. This Chiefs offense is not the same Chiefs offense in years past. They're only, averaging 23 points per game. If you hold them to their average, you got to win this ball game, fellas. No?
Yeah, I would think so.
In their last three games, they're averaging 20.
It's only 45.5.
Wow.
I'm actually surprised. That's a little bit low. I would have thought 47, 48, 45.5. So you got an easy over at 20.
I do have it. It's making me reconsider a little bit, but I'll stick to my guns.
Now, here is the most, because I got a bunch of, I'll leave you here. Broads 81 on X/Twitter.
You're going X on me, huh?
Yeah, going X on you. I got a bunch of, you mentioned research. I got a bunch of over-unders from email. This one stood out to me because of the way the Chiefs have been playing. You mentioned offensively. Is this about the greatness of Patrick Mahomes or how bad the Eagles' passing defense has been? The over-under for Patrick Mahomes' passing yards in this game, 282.5. That is a big number for the way they've been playing.
Eagles defense. There's your answer. I think it's based off of the fact that they're seeing the passing numbers that other teams are doing and realize there's a chance for him to put up something big, I'd imagine.
Boy,
I'd imagine.
That one opened my eyes. I'm like, really? They gave up 182 to him in the Super Bowl, but that's how bad the Eagles pass defense is.
Right, but here's the two things. Now I'm going to be Patrick Mahomes' defender. Two things that kind of shortchange Patrick Mahomes' passing yards in the Super Bowl. Number one, you lose a possession right in the middle of the game. Jalen Hurts decides to dribble the football. They pick it up. They run it in. that's Patrick Mahomes not getting a chance to accumulate any yards.
Well, they'll take it. They'll
Right.
take it.
I didn't say they turned it down. I'm just noting why he only came in at 182.
And they had the long punt return.
Exactly right. If they don't get the ball at the 10-yard, when you start your drive at the 9-yard line, you can only throw for so many yards. So I think.
By the way, this is a great prop bet as well. What will be said first on the telecast? Taylor Swift, tush push, or brotherly shove?
What about Carissa Thompson? Is she on that list?
Yeah. No, she's
Monday
Amazon,
night.
Right?
She's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, they're not going to mention Carissa.
She did it yesterday. I guess no mention at all, huh?
No,
no, they'll leave her out of the Monday night broadcast on. Hunter, always a pleasure, brother. Appreciate you coming in. We'll get you back on in a couple of weeks. Thanks for doing it today, and
of course,
take care of the missus.
Yes, will do.
When is the due date?
So we have 4 weeks from yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Starting to panic?
No, but it's definitely getting more real.
And enjoy that last 4 weeks of energy, my friend.
I know.
Enjoy it.
I know.
It's going to be sapped from you.
The sapped Hunter Brody the next time he's here on Birds 365. Well, no, we'll try and get John again before.
We can do that.
Yeah, it might not be for weeks thereafter. The wife brings down the hammer. You're not going on that stupid show with McMullen and McDonald.
Yeah.
So yeah,
she said that this morning.
we will definitely get you on before.
By the way, City Brotherly Love hat, is that a Sixers hat or just in general?
Yeah, it's a Sixers. I don't know where the logo is.
Right.
Yeah, it's Sixers.
It's
Sixers.
And
all right.
can
It's
guarantee
well
you
done.
it's not signed by Al Horford. That's the one thing we know for sure.
Okay.
Brody, always a pleasure. Thanks, bud.
See you guys.
Hunter Brody here with us on Birds 365. All right. Yes, they are expecting their first. He and Mrs. Brody are expecting their first within the next month. We'll get Hunter back up. All right. McMullen, McDonald coming back to put a bow on the show. Stay there.